Hi guys and welcome to Moto Scotty. Well, today is finally the day I'm going to change the steering wheel on my kit. If you've been following my channel, you know that I have a 1990 Firebird, and from 1990 to 1992 the Firebird's third generation had this beautiful 4-spoke airbag steering wheel. And yeah, it's the 1990 model year, which the 1990 were all built in late 89. They had the old style, like 85 onwards exterior, but the facelift interior with the door cards with the cup holders and the steering wheel airbag. And well, it's gonna go because I mean it's an old airbag. I actually feel safer without this old airbag than having that in here. And also you have the horn buttons, like this is all plastic, you can press as much as you want, like it will horn off. It will work at some point, but you know, like you have one on the left side, one on the right side, and it never really horns. I was once in a situation where I really had to like honk the horn and it didn't really go off. So that's gonna go. And in its place, we have this beautiful VSW built for enthusiasts Auto Pro USA steering wheel with this nice adapter. It's made for like all GM products from 1969 to 2002. I'm not sure if it. I know it's from the Firebirds from the 69 onwards to 2002, which is when the last Firebird was built. I think the steering column was pretty much unchanged until the end of it. So anyways, you have the adapter. I'll leave the link to it. I bought it on eBay. I'll leave the link to it in the description of the video. The adapter, the steering wheel itself, and then the horn button, which comes with the GM licensed Firebird logo that goes on the horn button. And I love it because it's genuine leather, stitched. You have the stitching. You can have it also with red stitching if you want. I went with the all black, and then you have this brushed aluminum center part, like frame basically, and also the horn button. I'll take it apart in just a minute. Is partly plastic, part like the ring is also brushed aluminum. But you'll see when I take it apart. But first off, we need to take the old steering wheel off. And I already have a video on how to take the steering wheel off on the. I'll leave a link in the description also on when I changed the turn signal springs. I had to take the steering wheel off, so you can see in detail that. But the major point here is that you also have to deactivate the airbag for good, so that the airbag light inside will not pop up again. Let me show you what I mean. If you switch on the ignition, you have this inflate restraint light here, which will blink for a couple of times and then go off, because it's measuring basically a resistor that's within the steering wheel from the airbag cable that's coming up the steering column. And if that resistor is in there, it will register and then it will shut off that light. So I've seen many videos. I've seen a few videos where people trying to measure the resistance and then just solder in the resistor. A simple option would also just be to remove that light bulb. However, you can also do it much more simpler. Fact is, you don't need to solder in anything. You basically just have to first switch off, turn off, disconnect the battery, wait 15 minutes, then pull the fuse, which is called SIR for supplemental inflatable restraint, something like that. And then you're good to go. So let's do that. All right, let's disconnect the battery. Holding the camera with one hand. After that. Now we wait 15 minutes. All right, the 15 minutes are over, and now down here in the fuse box, there's a little fuse called SIR. It's a 10 amp fuse. And I'm just trying to give you a good view here. Can you see it here in the middle? This one here, I'm just going to pull that one. That's it. I've already started to remove the steering wheel, I've already removed the airbag. Basically, also, since I've already done this in another video, again, link in the description. A couple of 4 T25 screws to remove the airbag element and then unplug the yellow cable. And then I went ahead and also lowered the underdash cover in case I need to access or pull back that yellow cable. But now all it takes is to take a steering wheel puller and pull out the old steering wheel, and then we can look into mounting the new one. Now, the steering wheel is off. There's this element here which is part of the airbag system, which is held in with a clip. I need a pair of needle nose pliers to go in here, but I've shown this in the other video as well. Grab it, pull, and try to extract it, which isn't always easy because it kind of slips and springs back in place. That's it. This little clip here. There's a way. And now I need to extract this. You can take some Phillips screwdriver and just wiggle it out. This out. That's it. And now basically you need to disconnect this. So since this is connected here, I'm just going to try and pull this plastic off. I don't know if I can just pull it off here or... Oh, this is connected. I don't want to cut it. So what is this basically? This cable, the green and white one. This is the harness you find down here, which is clipped to this. So it even says up here on this yellow label, this is the SIR cable. And even if I can clip this here, there's no way I can pull this through the column. So basically I just have to cut it. I'm cutting this here. This comes off. And then I can pull it all the way out, hopefully. Gonna reel this in. Reconnect this here to the frame. And that's it. Airbag removed. And now back to the matter at hand. I've put everything back together here with the underside. Now it's time to put the adapter piece on. So be aware that you need to put your horn. You want your horn button also. So this is the adapter piece with a couple of bolts here and a cable for the horn. So I need to align this. There's 3 holes in there. I need to make sure that I have the right ones in for the horn. There's one big hole here, so that's probably going to go like so. Yeah, that aligns nicely with the horn insert. Put this in here. There's no instruction that comes with this setup bonus that I could see of, so now I'm going to get the original nut that was here with the original steering wheel. So on here. It's a 22 mil. Nice and tight. Make sure there's no. Well, we'll see once I drive the car if I might have attached this too tightly here. Because you can see there's there's a groove up here. Yeah, you can see there's a bit of a groove here that used to have its place for the airbag electronics in here. Now that I've pressed it in already, I might just take a little knife and trim off the little bits here. I'm afraid I might have to get the steering wheel puller again. So I'm pulling off the steering wheel adapter. So that I can cut off those little ridges inside here that I don't need anymore. Piece. Now we can attach the adapter. See, there were two ridges here on top which held the little electronics part for the airbag in, kept it in place. Had to trim this off. And now you just make sure that you align. These are the holes for the steering wheel puller, which we just used, and then this is the one for the horn button. Just plug this in here, and this will then connect to the steering wheel, and now we can mount the steering wheel. Yeah! Alright, there's more hardware. Steering wheel, the cable comes through here. So let's see how this works. Alright guys, it's the next day and I've kind of tried to figure out how to attach ground to this. Obviously we have the positive is the spring-loaded yellow wire here that connects to the middle, and then the white one here on the outside. I've basically just stuck it under the locking nut of the steering wheel, pressed it down, and this way we have a horn. Now it's all a matter of putting it all together again, so let me see. Oh no, I need to put the steering wheel in first. So just connect that, go through here, reconnect. But the springing, the thing is that it's all holded in by the 6 screws that hold in the entire assembly at once. So you can't just hold in the steering wheel and then put the rest in. Make sure it's all the way in the spring. Perfect. Yes. So here we are. The steering wheel is mounted and the horn works. However, as you can see, the airbag light or the inflate restraint light, let's see if I can zoom in here, is still on here and doesn't go away, because even if the car is not running, if you switch on the ignition, it blinks a couple of times and stays on for a while and then it goes off. So it would appear that the old trick with disconnecting the battery and pulling the fuse didn't work. So what now? Obviously I stand corrected. I thought that by disconnecting the battery and pulling the fuse, the whole dashboard airbag light thing would not appear, and that would be the proper, the smart, the easy way out, and obviously it doesn't work. So now one option is obviously the one that is already out on YouTube, is by soldering in a resistor onto the cable, the airbag cable, so that the airbag system thinks that the airbag is still in. So if you solder in the same resistance that the airbag system usually has, and if you put the fuse back in, obviously then it will think, oh, airbag is in, the light goes off after a few seconds when you switch on the ignition. That's one option. The other option is to simply remove the bulb that's in behind this gauge here. And that's what I'm going to do, because in terms of effort, it's pretty much the same thing. I still have to take the dashboard underside panel down. I have to lower the column a little bit, but that's an easy thing while you have the cover off. Take out the gauge cluster. So let's go ahead and take it apart. So what do you need here? We need 10mm ratchet, an extension for the underdash cover. Please phone focus. And you have 5 of these, and then underneath here we have the steering column with the 4 bolts, like 2 bolts, 13mm that hold the steering column, and the cover here that is 13mm as well. I actually just removed this cover completely, but then the steering column I just loosened so I can get the steering column a little bit down in order to get the gauge cluster out. That's the only reason we're actually getting the under dash panel off and go into here, because otherwise it would be stuck, the whole gauge cluster. And then there's a bunch of 7mm screws that hold the cover here, this plate, all around here on the bottom, and a few just here under the dash. And actually had to remove also this panel here with the buttons for the hatch release and the fog lights and the defrost button, because there's one more bolt here. And then there's a couple of more 7mm screws that hold in the actual gauge cluster alongside the edges and the corners. Now here I have it out. So I know that it's the top light on the left, this one here, which corresponds in the back to, just put this over here, to this one here. And that's all I have to do. Take the bulb out. Pull it out, the bulb out, and put this back in. So actually, if you hold this against the light, just not scratch anything. Maybe you can see it. This is the inflate. Inflate restraint. Just going to put the cover back in. Plug. There you go. Problem fixed. So here we go. I put everything back together. Obviously I've tested it before, but let's give you the show. Switch on the ignition. And obviously everything else comes on, like the seatbelt light, check engine soon, and the handbrake light, which is normal. But the airbag light here on top of the seatbelt light is off because there's no light bulb in it. So success. That's a relatively easy way that you can fix it. You don't have to buy anything else. You just have to, well, take it apart and put it back together. Alright guys, that's all for this episode. Let me know in the comments what you think of this method. Would you go with the resistor, or would you just take the light bulb out like I just did? So thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.